Sit down, Tim.
Awesome. Well, first of all, I just want to say thank you guys for spending your Saturday morning with us. It's super cool. We really just wanted to spend today to set you guys up for success for the challenge. And for your 2025, right? So a lot of people go into January with a lot of motivation, like, okay, like I did what I wanted over the holidays, I'm ready to get back in it. We want to find a way with this challenge and just in general for you guys to find a routine that you can continue into spring, right? That's the goal. Like, yes, we want you to find, see quick results with the challenge and everything, but I do also want you guys to find, what's up guys? Find some kind of routine out of it, and the habits that, the way that you're trying to get the habits to stick, is that a way that's longer term for you to be able to stick to it. Obviously you guys have figured out that the 3 workouts a week is solid, to stay consistent with. So now it's like, how can we make sure the food happens? How can we make sure the steps happen, right? Sweet.
Keep going.
Yeah. Well, we want to talk a little bit about where we came from, right?
Yeah.
So in case you guys didn't know, AJ and I worked with another franchise gym in the area since 2017. We moved up and down the East Coast to help them open locations, and then eventually actively pursued our own franchise with them. And that was around COVID time, and COVID wasn't what threw us off, but during that time of looking for a location in Florida, we realized that we weren't necessarily aligning with the franchise anymore. As they were growing, they were forgetting about the whole point of it, which was results for you guys, and literally y'all. So we were like, okay, so how can we make sure that they see results? So we realized we had to pull out and do something on our own that just aligned more with what we were trying to accomplish and the service we were trying to provide for you guys. So that's where IBFit came from. Because we had a non-compete with that franchise, even though I'm not running anything now, we had a non-compete for 2 years, so it forced us to go online. That's where IBFit came from. It started as Incredibly Bulk Coaching, which is why you see the gorillas, right? So that was our original logo, our original thing we were going for. We realized pretty quickly that Incredibly Bulk was kind of scary for women, even though I love that idea. Not everybody wants to be bulk. So that's part of why we changed the name, but IB still does stand for Incredibly Bulk. That was also AJ's middle school nickname, because he was always the biggest kid, so they called him that. So that's where it came from.
Yeah. So today we really want to touch on how you guys can be the best clients for us, which in turn, you guys being the best clients will ideally get you guys the best results. So there's 4 main things that we're going to be looking for. The first one is going to be logging your weight every morning. I know seeing that number on the scale every morning might not be your favorite thing, but especially if you guys have a weight loss goal, we want that number to be front of mind. Our idea is for you guys just to log it and forget it, because it lets us kind of see what's going on. It gives us the metric to look at.
What we try to do is we try to look at trends, right? So it's not about what you weigh that day, or the next day, or the day before that. It's overall, what did your weight do by the end of that week compared to the week before that, right? So, because if you eat something, someone said this to me yesterday, they weighed this in the morning, and then they come and weigh with me, not only on that scale, which we all hate that scale, but their weight is more, and that makes sense, right? Because you ate something, because you drank something, because you didn't poop yet, all those things. But you guys aren't thinking about that when you're in your weight loss journey. You're focused on the number, but in a way that's not helpful, right? That's why it hurts, right? Because you're associating your identity and your worth with that number. That's not what I want you to look at that number for. I want you to look at that number as a metric for the progress you're trying to accomplish. What's the shortest distance between 2 points? It's a straight line. Why would you not want to log your food? Why would you not want to log your weight? Why would you not want to track everything you can possibly track so you can get to your goal as fast as possible?
Especially if you are stepping on the scale, most days and not logging it, that makes it really hard for us to do our job. When you come to us with questions, we don't know what's going on. Most people's last weigh-in was September. So what can I do with that?
Or it's their last weigh-in with me. You guys are weighing in at home. You're weighing in on your scale, but you think I'm looking for a certain number. I just want a number to look at. I don't care what the number is, because as long as I see it, I can figure out what's going on, or at least try to. So don't, not put a number on there because you had something you weren't supposed to have, and the number's up. I'm just gonna either talk to you about it, or it's gonna be incorporated in the average at the end of the week. So we do account for your fluctuations. Every weigh-in that you do for the week, we then will take the average, right? So you guys know that that one number on that one given day is an accurate representation of that week. So like, yes, weighing in once a week, if you're very consistent, like you're following a meal plan, could be helpful, but the more weigh-ins we have, the more data we have, the easier it is to make interpretations, right? So that's why we ask you guys to weigh in. We know it doesn't always feel good, but try to instead like face that and learn to change your relationship with that number, right? It's not gonna change unless you're uncomfortable. And we don't wanna ruin your day. If it does ruin your day, there are other metrics we can check, we can like look at, but it's just really helpful for your coaches.
Okay.
Right?
So best practice, weighing in the morning, after you use the bathroom, before you eat anything.
Yeah, I would say like, yes, I'm asking you to weigh in every day. I wouldn't weigh in like, after your lunch and you're like, oh, she wants me to weigh in. Like I would just not even worry about it at that point because yeah, it's not gonna be what anything you want it to be. But I do think like as close to consistent around the same time as possible, right? Does that make sense? Yes. Okay, cool.
Next, obviously, we talk about it all the time, but hitting your steps. It's good for obviously just extra activity throughout the day. I love just going on walks, just for like the extra mental clarity. I don't listen to anything. That's just like my time to be by myself, outside with the sun. Present. And just kind of like reflecting on your day, reflecting on the things that you need to do. Enjoy that alone time, right?
So that's the premise of like the steps. Like even if you can get your steps in like throughout your day, right? Like the best case scenario is you're not having to go on these long walks or having to like live on your walking pad and hit your steps. Like ideally you're slowly incorporating more activity into your day to day. But if you already have to go on a walk because you work from home and you're sedentary and you don't have a walking pad, ideally you would take advantage of that time and spend at least some of that time, not distracted and present. And a lot of you guys have like stressful things going on at home or stressful things going on at work or both. And that time by yourself could do a lot for you mentally too and help you work through things and actually listen to yourself think instead of all of the other people telling you what to do or how to think or what to think, right? Especially social. So we would opt for like doing the walking versus like the scrolling all the time, right? But your actual step goal, we always tell you guys 7,500 to 10,000 a day. At least, right? So the 7,500 after doing the online coaching for a couple of years, that's the number that we really noticed would move the needle, right? People who struggle to get to that 75 had to do a lot more work in their nutrition to see the same level of results, right? Of weight loss specifically, right? And we also have seen that our clients that are like athletes, right? So not necessarily training for weight loss, but training for performance or training for just general strength and body composition. They are getting 10, 12,000 steps a day. They don't have to do cardio. They're just active, and your body will, and that promotes lean muscle mass and promotes body fat loss. So there's a lot of reasons why we're telling you guys to walk. If it ends up being like a stressful point, hit what figure out what you absolutely can do, which hopefully we did this week. And last week, like what is like the minimum that you can get done? Or for the 4 weeks, like what are you gonna push yourself to get done? And then at the end of the 4 weeks, was that something you can continue to sustain, or do we need to lower the number a little bit? Your steps are things, and your food are things that you can play with, right? So if you're willing to get more steps, you can get away with eating a little bit more, eating a little bit less, consistent, right? But if you aren't getting, your 75 or even closer to 10, you need to make sure you're being consistent with your food, right? That kind of like balances out. Do you guys have questions about steps? Cool. Next is going to be the meal plan. So in general, I want to touch on taking pictures first. So do you want to talk about why you like pictures better?
So I like pictures personally because
Like logging, taking pictures.
Yeah, so taking pictures of your plate, just because a lot of the times, I know a lot of people have a hard time knowing like what to log or how to actually log it so it's accurate. So the pictures give us a good idea, or like the best idea of what you guys are actually eating, how much you're eating, and it's that's 100% accurate. Can't really hide behind that. What's up?
So is that like pictures of the food and then just send it to the IBFit chat?
No, so you can. So when you go to log food, if you're logging in the IBFit app, you hit the plus, you hit meal, your camera should pop up, and then you can literally just take a picture of your plate, and you don't have to log everything individually. So obviously it's not like accurate as far as calories.
It's not gonna spit out macros, right?
But it lets us, make sure you guys are eating the right stuff and make sure you guys are eating the right portions of everything.
If you're logging in MyFitnessPal, there's a chance that your camera doesn't pop up when you go to hit meal. So if that's the case, you can change the settings where you can do both logging in MyFitnessPal and like taking the pictures. For a lot of you guys, if you haven't, when you came in for the 4-week challenge, we talked about logging and stuff. I wanted to know what you were more likely to do, right? So if you are barely logging, don't really want to do it, only doing it because I'm asking you to do it, I think you're more likely to stay consistent with it, and it's easier to take the pictures, right? So not only does it tell me actual more like information of what your portion actually looks like and what you actually put in your mouth, but it also is less work for you. So you can, and ideally you would just start with the pictures, and you start to kind of notice what you're eating, like you start following the meal plan, you start recognizing what foods are proteins, what foods are carbs and fats, and then you get interested in figuring out what's in your food, right? You start to be like, okay, well what, because some of you guys will start to be like, okay, well what should my calories be? Or like what should, and I don't want to like just hit you with a calorie goal and just immediately like assume where you should be at. I want to see where you're at when you get to choose, right? And that's what this meal plan is. When I give you certain foods to choose from, how much are you actually eating on a calorie basis? And hitting a certain amount of protein, and then like we can adjust from there based on how consistent you can actually be with that. So I think ideally you would start with pictures and then like roll into logging.
And if you guys were to take pictures and log it, that would help us kind of like navigate with you guys. Like, hey, you logged 1 cup of chicken. That doesn't really look like a cup. That looks more like 4 ounces. So that's just something we can kind of work together to do. And you do the pictures and you log.
Or if you're like, I'm following this meal plan, I don't understand why the needle's not moving, I don't understand it, and then you start taking pictures versus logging, and I can see like, yeah, you were logging 1 serving of this the whole time, and you're giving yourself 3, right? So it adds up. And just little things like that. And plus you taking pictures, I feel like that automatically, I'm looking at not only what you're logging, right, but the actual picture of whatever you ate. Because a lot of times what you guys are eating that you don't end up logging is something you don't know how to log. So someone baked it, or someone made it for you, brought it to you, it's a casserole, there's a bunch of things in there. So just take a picture of it and then tell me what's in it. Or take a picture of the cake and tell me what flavor it is, just so I can think about it. And then like it's accounted for, right? Because I think you guys stress about like, well, I don't know how to log that, so like what's the point of putting it in there because I'm not even gonna, like just account for it. Mentally know that you accounted for that. Like you acknowledge that you ate that and that you chose to eat that and you're okay with doing that. You should never feel bad about eating something. Like even if it's not on your plan, you should take the 30 seconds to decide that you're gonna eat it. Don't let your stomach decide what you're gonna eat, right? That's one thing. Take the 30 seconds to be like, is this really what I want? It's not on my plan. But if I eat it, I'm gonna be okay with the fact that I ate it, right? Own it. It's food, right?
We never want you guys to feel bad about anything that you do eat. Like she said, like just own it and move on.
I want to see the hot Cheetos. I do, I really do, because that tells me that you're actually showing me what you're actually eating. When I just see a bunch of healthy food, and then you guys are like, what's my problem? Like, you're not showing me the whole picture, and you know it. You know it.
Everything you put in your mouth.
Your protein shake that you have twice a day on that meal plan, I want that guy every time. Every time. You can use the same picture over and over again. You guys know that, right? It's like once you upload it, it'll pop up in your recents, and if you're eating the same thing over and over again, you can to make it faster. But you just want to know what's really happening so we can really help you. That's all. Right? I don't want to give out cookie cutter stuff, right? That's how we're able to do both, right? We're able to like give you something that I know will work for most people, but I'm not going to portion control. I want to see what you're going to eat first, okay? Sweet. We will touch on the meal plan for the challenge here shortly, but I did want to touch on one more thing: communication, right? That's the last piece.
Yeah. So the biggest thing there is filling out your check-in form. So we made a new check-in form for you guys. That's going to be sent out on Sunday. This is going to be kind of like a lot more reflection. It's going to ask you guys to kind of do a little bit of work to reflect on your week. It's going to ask you guys to fill out your average weight, tell you guys how to do that. It's going to, what else is it going to ask?
Yeah, so it asks you what your average weight for the week is. So if you weighed in like all 7 days, right, you would add up all 7 days weight and then divide it by 7, and that's your average weight for the week, right? And then that's the number that we will use compared to the average of the week prior. And ideally those numbers are like slowly going down if that's your goal, or they're, doing whatever they're doing, because it's weight, right? But ideally we have that number. And then it's also asking for your average steps. So we're asking you for the challenge, I think it's 70K for you to get points for your steps. So that would be 10,000 for the week, right? Or 70K over the course of the week, okay?
Ideally, it's consistent, like 10K, like each day throughout the week. We're not just, hitting 50K, over the weekend. We want it to be consistent.
That's kind of where that 7,500 comes in. Like that really should end up being like your low. But if you're still working on getting the steps in general, it's just a consistency thing.
Yeah.
And then it also asks you like if you face any challenges, if you notice any changes, and any questions you might have. And then you'll do that every 4 weeks for the challenge. After the challenge ends, you guys will fill out a check-in form once a month, and then we will meet within a week of that. So ideally, that will keep us like on a consistent meeting schedule, making sure that you guys are, getting help or taking pictures at a steady time, that kind of thing.
Also answering our messages. You guys like to avoid us on the app, so if we do reach out to you, just answering us. Yeah, just answering us. Coach Mitch and Coach Steph are going to be reaching out to you guys a lot more as well. So just answering us honestly. Like you said, we just want to know what's going on. We want to know how you guys are feeling, so we can help you guys. We want you guys to get the best results possible. And if we don't know how you guys are feeling or what's going on, it makes it really hard for us to do our job.
Yes, okay, so that's enough on that. So that's why we constantly harp on weight, harp on steps, and then, you're logging the food. Those are really the things that we realize that drive the needle, so just trying to get in those habits. Okay, I do want to touch on the meal plan for the challenge. Does anybody have any questions right off the bat about the meal plan for the challenge? What's that?
So I loosely been doing that, and I feel like I'm eating dinner all day long other than breakfast.
What do you mean by that?
Well, I feel like every meal I'm having a dinner, because you can't have yogurt, you can't have cottage cheese. So if you guys have any other food ideas going into the next 4 weeks, because
For like a protein.
Have you checked out the recipe book yet?
no.
So there is a recipe book for the 14-day meal plan on the
Okay.
school app.
Okay.
So I just show you guys how to put the foods together, like chicken, almonds, and Brussels sprouts, like that kind of thing. I don't really have a problem with introducing non-fat Greek yogurt, plain non-fat Greek yogurt, if you digest it well. The reason it's not on the meal plan is because a lot of people are reacting to dairy and they're just in denial. Okay, so I wanted to see if you feel better without it. If you know for a fact that you're good, or let's say your protein shakes your way and you digest those well, I don't see a problem with incorporating the non-fat Greek yogurt as a protein. Cottage cheese, I'm a little bit more wary about because people tend to not use the 0% cottage cheese. So if you can find 0% cottage cheese and you handle that well, that would be okay. You're more likely to react to that than to the non-fat Greek yogurt. So if you need that as a protein, that's okay.
Okay.
How do we know if we're reacting to the?
If you're bloated,
Okay.
yeah, if you know that some people eat ice cream and they feel like crap after, oh no, it's because I ate ice cream. Ice cream makes you bloated. No, not everybody. Not
And I
everybody.
think I noticed it with ice cream, but not Greek yogurt.
Yeah.
Things like that. That's what makes sense.
Something a little bit more mild. What's up?
And that's the idea by cutting it out for the first 14 days.
Basically.
So when you do reintroduce it and you start to notice that bloat, it is because of that.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I'm trying to get at too, right? So, like I said, if you know for a fact you're good, then
How bad is unsweetened almond milk? Or protein shake?
unsweetened.
I know you put water on there, but
It's about 25 calories a cup, so I mean, just stick to that. I would stick to the one serving. Yeah, these little things I'm not as stressed about, but I do want, we're trying to, limit the sugar, limit the processed food, limit the, but the, things that you know for a fact that are good for you, or that work for you.
If you don't have a problem already with cottage cheese, then you take it out for the 14 days or whatever. And you bring it back and you're still fine, is that okay?
That's like best case scenario.
Okay.
It's really just-
That's
yeah.
not a problem with it.
It's to me, yeah, it's basically, and I mean, you potentially, yeah, you could potentially work with everything else to then just not having any lactose anywhere kind of thing, is the idea, but I mean, yeah, I think if you want to leave it out to see if it makes a difference, If it's gonna be like a make it or break it on you sticking to the plan, then I would, bring it back in. But it is included on the expanded plan.
What's up, Sam?
I can't get the recipe book to open first thing. I was just trying to look at it.
Do you think it's the internet?
The internet.
I think it's the internet.
Oh, there it came. Tried like 6 times, but there it is.
Yes, will you show Tony Joe that real quick, Cynthia?
Yeah.
So it is like, it'll show you the 3 colors, so it'll show you like the other meal plan did for the 6-week challenge. It'll show you like your protein's blue, your fat's pink, and then you have veggies, and then that meal plan will fit for that, for that meal, okay? The idea is for you guys to have your fat before beginning and end of the day, because we want your carbs during the day. Having the fat is so that you don't get stuck just having no carbs at all, and it's just protein and veggies. I want you to be a little bit more satiated than that, and I want the healthy fats to work with the apple cider vinegar, right? So that's why your carbs are in the middle of the day. After the 14 days, this beginning fat goes away, okay? And it just ends up being the 1 serving of fat at the end, like it was before, and then all of your carbs and protein leading up to that, okay?
That's part of my question.
What's up?
That I had a 2-parter.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. I do not, like, is it okay to take that veggie serving in the morning and maybe like double it up at lunch? I do not
Yes.
do vegetables for breakfast.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Sorry.
As long as you get it in later on, that's totally fine.
Okay.
That was your question?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I actually think I started to pick up on that as I was doing these, and I think I started to tell some of you guys that you could have later.
Or like the Google screens fine?
Yes.
Okay.
I use the like, oh, we eat camels.
That sounds good.
What'd you say, Rose?
Spinach with banana smoothies, like, or
Yeah.
banana protein powder.
There we go.
Yeah.
There we go. Talk about bananas right now.
Sorry, I know what I'm talking about.
Talk about right now. Okay.
That's how I go about it.
Okay, and then like I said, I'm not as focused on your calorie goal, right? So I don't want, if you guys already have a calorie goal and it's still in there and that calorie goal is working for you, then you can use this meal plan to fill that calorie goal, right? And meet your protein goal and meet your calorie goal. But I really just want you to follow the meal plan, and wherever your calories end up is wherever your calories end up, okay? The farther off you go from the plan, the less that is okay, right? The more you need to rely on your macros. But I really am trying to use this to figure out how much calories you can get away with in a clean way, and then I can set your goal, or we can pedal back if you're not gonna eat that meal all the time, right? So try to hit your protein goal, that's what it's set for. So I didn't give you portions for your protein, but if you know that 4.5 ounces was working for you, or that 6-ounce portion was working for you in the beginning, and that's how you were hitting your protein goal, keep doing that. Just with the foods that I let you have, right? So we're trying, the reason it's limited is these are all foods that we know we're not gonna negatively react to, right? We're trying to get really tight, we're trying to see some changes in our waist, and I want you guys to, get back in the mindset of eating real clean, and then at the end of the 14 days, we'll take it up, we'll open it up a little bit. If you can stick this out for the full month, that would be sick.
How many do you plan on only eating the foods off this list for the 14 days?
Oh, how many of you?
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah, honestly,
Honestly,
yeah.
Yeah.
Plan your line? What do you think is gonna cause you not to?
Coming home from school. When I come home from school, I'm like, sorry.
Yeah.
It's like getting past that.
Can you time a meal for right then?
Yeah.
Or
Just doing it at this point, right?
Yeah.
As it's our birthday.
Your birthday's tomorrow, right? Oh no, it's Tuesday. Yours is tomorrow. Yeah.
We went out.
Yeah.
Oh, there you
yeah,
go.
we're good.
Still be told on you. Yeah, no alcohol for the 4 weeks.
I did not have the grits. I had a really good salad and steak.
I'll take that.
I
I'll take
didn't
it.
have the grits like somebody else did.
She's gonna call you out like that.
Okay. And did everybody get on the school app? That's where all of your resources for this challenge are. Ideally, you go into the introduction page and you introduce yourself, like some of us have. A lot of us work out in different classes, so it'd be cool if you guys can introduce yourselves in there. And then the red carpet challenge section, that's where all of these resources are. I have a few more that I'll put in there over the course of the weekend. But you do have the recipe book in there. I have a grocery list for this. That is in there now. And then a copy of the full meal plan if you needed another printout of that. Does everybody understand that you're gonna have that extra serving of carbs when you work out, and
the afternoon.
Yes.
That doesn't count for the ab workout.
Right, yes. And then if you don't already have the ab and the glute workouts on your calendar, they will be on there by Sunday for you. The abs one is gonna be on Tuesdays, and the glutes one is on Thursdays. If you ask for only core or only glutes, that will be adjusted, okay? Those are like 5 to 10 minutes. The glute one includes the mini band, right? But if you don't have a mini band, you're still gonna get a little pump from it. Ideally, it's something that you're not gonna be able to talk yourself out of. It'll take 5 minutes, just roll over and knock it out, and it'll work.
Will that be in the app or just?
It's gonna be right in your calendar, right on Tuesday, right on that Thursday.
I know we've been asking you guys to like switch over to MindBody, download School. Might feel like a lot, but it's for you guys. We just wanna, make this as best as we can for y'all. So we appreciate you guys like bearing with us.
Yeah, we didn't like the glow box and we didn't like the wait list and the way that it was working. We felt like you guys weren't getting contacted, and I don't know. So MindBody should help that, right? It's to help our new people get recognized. It's to help you guys know if there's room in the class or not. All the things,
Yeah.
and just better in general. And then same with the school app. A lot of you guys don't have social media, don't like social media. The only reason that we're not sharing as many transformations as we have had here is because you guys don't want me to share them on social media, and I'm trying to respect that, but I do want to share them with the rest of the community, because you guys who just joined or have been in the middle of it, sometimes seeing someone you see in class and their progress, you're like, all right, like, they're doing it. So I wanted a safe space to share the testimonials and to share progress, but also for you guys to interact with each other, and then for us to drop a bunch of resources there for you guys. So that's what it's for. I know it feels like a lot, but it's just to try to give you the best service and the best product that we can for you guys.
We can delete Glow Fox now, like, we're done.
Yeah.
Yeah, Flowfox, yeah, it's done. So if you don't have MindBody yet, you're just not looking, I guess, until you get MindBody. So we're gonna, every class, at the end of every class, you're gonna hear us call you guys' names out. If we call your name out, it's because you don't have MindBody yet, and we need you to get it. Okay? Anything else? Does
Any
anybody
other
have any other
questions?
questions?
I thought I heard you say you have a paper.
Yes.
Yes.
I didn't see it.
It's under wallet.
Okay.
You should see
Oh,
it there.
Yes.
It won't have you do it automatically. You'll have to go in there and do it. That's another thing. Like,
That's what we'll be pulling you guys over for.
Yeah, it's
It
not
won't
gonna
prompt.
prompt you. You'll just have to do it, and then if you don't know how, we'll show you on Monday.
But that's where your membership's gonna go through now.
What about coffee? Like I know on there.
You better ask that girl.
Cheater, ask that question.
Virginia, is that coffee?
What I would say is, if you can completely ditch the alcohol for the 4 weeks, and then the coffee is like a 1 cup or a 2 cup thing, the coffee is inflammatory, yes, so like I wouldn't do more than like a couple of cups, like I'm asking you to avoid it altogether, because it is inflammatory. But if you're gonna drink it anyway, try to only do like the initial like 1 or 2 cups, and it's what you put in it that's also an issue, right? So it's like anything you put in it that contains like sugar or any of the processed stuff that we're trying to cut out. And it's like really up to you. I think, like I've said this before, when you introduce like coffee, you have like creamer and sugar in it. That's what you're immediately like waking your body up with in the morning. That's what you're breaking your fast with, is sugar. And we always want to try to break our fast with protein. Okay, so that's part of it. So if you have the coffee and you put a little bit of something in it, just try to have protein or something with it.
Protein shake.
Yes, yeah, if you use that as your creamer, that's fine. But for the sake of caffeine and coffee and trying to eliminate that, that's not the thing that's gonna make or break you. That's one of the things that will make it work even better. That's really the main thing. Okay? Your discretion, that's your discretion. But I mean, it's just one of the things. Like if you can handle everything else and that's the thing you choose to hold on to, at the end of it, you'll either look at your progress and be like, that coffee is what ruined me. I don't think that's what's gonna happen, so I think you're good.
I guess cooking meat, they do a ton of just like ground, like 98% ground chicken or turkey. But isn't there something around like measuring it before versus cooking? I usually just cook it and then I'll take a cup and just like scoop it, and that's how I measure it. So
It's always preferred to measure it before, because that's what the macros on the label are, right? When you scan the label, the 4 ounces that the macros are for is for 4 ounces raw. right? That's why they say that, and because you're losing a lot of water in the cooking process, I would say measuring it before is better too, because you're gonna get a lot more, like, in your serving, like, it shrinks a lot. So if you do a 4 ounce serving raw, and then you try to get yourself 4 ounces cooked,
It's more like 6 to 7 ounces.
yeah, it ends up being different.
So you're actually eating more, like if you weigh it half. That makes sense.
Right, because it soaked everything up. I think that you just need to be consistent. So if you always do it wet, or you always do it raw, then just always do it raw. If you always do it cooked, just always do it cooked. But
We weigh it cooked.
we weigh it cooked.
So it's not a make or break.
Well, and too, instead of, it sounds like, instead of me like taking a measuring cup and scooping it, you'd rather me maybe just like weigh it for the 4 ounces.
Yeah, and that's another reason we'd rather you guys like just take pictures of your plate, because when we are logging, when you guys are calculating your calories, it's not.
Little things like that, or, you know, I mean, I'm looking at it as raw, or you're looking at it as cooked, but when I actually see.
Or a cup.
Yeah, when we actually see the amount, then we can tell, it's easier for us to tell. Okay, make sure you guys are measuring your oils and your almond butter, okay? Okay, that's it?
Other questions? No, sweet.
All right, we got a workout about to
Yeah.
start, so.
Next week, I'm gonna be talking about like your year in review, so like 2024, I wanna review that with you guys. So bring in the journal, you can bring,
Zoom right away.
yeah, something to write with. It's gonna be a good time, I'm excited. Sweet, appreciate you guys showing up today. Yeah, can we get a picture real quick?
Wait, everybody come here and face Rob. Oh no, face April. You took our picture, Rob, you're in it.
Which camera do we use?
Oh, I guess, yeah. Ryan, grab that phone right there. Take a picture.